So what up? It is day 3 of InkTober, and today's prompt is crown. I have an intricate thing in mind. I'm going to take 3 different references and kind of composite them into something of my own. I'll let you wait and see what it's going to be. Let's get into it. Okay, so for InkTober day 2, I grabbed my Sumo grip pencil, my 0.9, instead of using the Staedtler this time, and it shows up a little better on camera, or considerably better actually. I'm going to combine Robb Stark from the show of Game of Thrones, Robb Stark, and his direwolf, put him on the throne as the king in the north with the crown on his head. And I don't remember if they did that in the show or not. In the book they did, so I kind of wanted to kind of depict it myself. So I have a picture of a wolf I'm going to use. I have a drawing of the interpretation of the crown from the book, and a picture of Richard Madden, who played Robb Stark. So those 3 together, I'm going to compile myself, to composite some sort of drawing. So I'm going to put maybe Robb over here and his dog over here. His dog, his big old wolf. But also he'll be on this throne. So I'm just going to do the head of the wolf and the head of Robb because I wanted it to be focused on the 2 of them really close instead of far out, so I can put some detail into it. And hopefully it'll come out cool. I don't know how it's going to work out, but we'll see. And for the throne, I'm actually using a picture of Sophie Turner that played Sansa Stark. Took me forever to remember that. Just because the throne is theirs, where she's sitting in it towards the end of the show. And again, I was going to say, if I hadn't said this before, sorry, if you haven't read the Song of Ice and Fire, which is Game of Thrones is based on, and I say based because they're not the same, you need to go read it. It's goodish. So I'm going to shut up and try drawing now. I'm trying to make sure that this stays in shot as best I can. And I draw comics a lot recently, a lot of comic, and I also cartoon and animate and stuff. So I've kind of gotten away from really like hyper realism. I did do it for a little while, but I actually like that comic look more personally. As a lot of really amazing artists say, they say realism is the default. So kind of cool to get away from all that. I usually start with the nose. If I need to, going a little hard on his nose. It's not quite that big. There is a big ass eraser on this. Look at this. Look at the length of this thing. Pretty amazing actually. I usually don't use the eraser on this because I have it, but I'm going to start here. Just trying to get this loose, kind of connected idea right. His face is really shadowed in this, and I think it's really cool, so I might actually keep that on the left side. Sort of this whole side of his face is obscured in shadow, so we will see. Again, for me, in order to get a likeness correct, it's good to get the eye shape right, but I'm using him as a reference to draw Robb. He doesn't have to look exactly like him because it's meant to be my interpretation of the character from the book, and I'm not trying to crutch and be like, oh yeah, that's why I screwed up. It's because, I could sit here and painstakingly make sure it's exactly right, but I just want to use him as a reference. His eyes look really intense here. It's pretty cool. His eyes are kind of smiling here, but I'm gonna make him try to keep him a little bit more serious. Let me turn this so I can draw a little bit more comfortably. So his eye line is about right there. If this looks a little different than I normally do, I usually do it a different angle. I have to change it because the light I was using, the light that I actually reviewed recently, it wasn't very good. It just kind of fell apart on itself. So I will make a video about that just to let people know. He's got pretty intense looking eyes and the bridge of his eyebrows, so his nose. Try not to go too heavy. I just want a guideline for when I go to ink this. Again, it's not meant to look exactly like him, using him as a reference, just so you know. Yeah, you cannot see this side of his face. I might heavy ink that because that's too wide. Anyway, he's really dark on this side. You can't really see him. So I'm literally gonna have to wing his ear because I cannot see what his ear looks like. That'll work. Yeah, he's kind of turned a little bit to the side, so that's why you can see that ear and not the other one. Not very well anyway. Yeah. No, you can see it a little bit, but his hair mostly covers it, so just gonna do that. Again, let me go a little heavier on some detail here. And yeah, his hair is just kind of curly everywhere. The curls covering up his face. He got this whoosh. Anyway, that's an idea of what he should look like. He's wearing all this other crazy stuff that I can't quite make sense of from this picture. First of all, I'm blinding myself with the light that I have right here. I really didn't even need to do his ear, to be honest. His hair is such a prominent thing in this picture. Again, he's just a reference, but it's my interpretation of him. I'm all alone in the room, it seems. He's got a very serious, you know what, his nose is too far down. Just realized. So I need to just do what I normally do. I'm throwing myself off. The way I would normally draw this, now he's an alien, would be I would start with where the bottom of his nose is at, and then I would come up to the nostril, make sure that those are in the right spot. There we go. That looks better to me. There we go. And he's got a somewhere around there. It's a bit more accurate to the character here. And I can go through here and detail this. but he, like I said, he's really dark here on this side, and he's got his little 5 o'clock shadow thing going on. Yeah, it's a bit pronounced. A lot of times when I draw a guy, like I don't usually draw the upper lip because it creates a bit more, it almost looks feminine when I do it that way sometimes. So I try not to just make a hint of it, but I think that's okay. Again, this is just my interpretation of the character. I wanted him to look, I really should make him, I don't know, maybe I should make it look like him more. I don't know. It's a little too pointy. I don't know. I'm just drawing. Whatever. Doesn't have to be all that. I'm just tightening up his jawline because he's got a much more intense. He just looks harder that way to me. And maybe, all right. Just gonna scribble in some pupils because he looks creepy. Give him a little bit of that stash, you know. This again, I can come back in here and do this with the ink, but just want to make him look a little bit more rugged. I think I went too heavy on the not the pupil, but the iris is not showing up. This pencil is really soft, and so it smears really easily, which can be a good thing if that's what you're looking for. There we go. Yeah, some darkness above his eyes. Yeah, impression of a eyelid. That's kind of cool. And then he's got this big old jacket on. He's got a big old coat. I need a better picture of his coat because I can't really, I can interpret it my own way, but I just want to be kind of true to the style. Okay, this is what it seems to be that he's wearing. I'm just going to use this as my guide to draw it. So his neck coming down here, he's got like this almost like leathery collar. Yeah, that's cool. I don't mind that too much. He has a brooch on as well, which is holding his cloak on, obviously. And I believe they're supposed to be, I believe they're in the book, they're dire wolves, but I don't think that's the case here. Yeah, he's got like a, you know, there's some fold in his garment, something like that. And of course, he's got this big old fur coat on. I'm going to just do his dog next to him. His, I can't want to say dog because, you know, that's what they are. They're canines. So there's his wool. His fur coat is what I'm going for. It has sort of like an overlay to it. And there's this, like I said, it looks like sort of a brooch that is underneath here. The fur is just kind of everywhere. And then he's got like a leather, sort of like a leather tunic on underneath here with a cross, like a, I don't know how to describe it except like a leather strap is what it is. And this is the draw through thing I'm saying. This is what I like to do. Because when I was younger, I used to just be like, oh, just wind it up. And then I always screw something up by trying to like ghost it, trying to go like here and then skip a spot and go here. It's just draw through it. It's just easier. For this, I'm just going to make some impressions of where the fur changes colors and stuff, and then I can always come back and ink it up just to give it some texture. There's patches of it that are very different and patches that are very dark. That's kind of cool. See, interpretation. My interpretation. Yes. Of course, he's got the big, beautiful locks, you know, the swooshy locks. I do appreciate, though, in the show that they made sure that John's hair looked different than Robb's so that he stands out, and it's pretty obvious to you early on. My friend that got me into the show actually pointed that out. He was like, you know, you notice his hair is different. I think it's because, and he was right. His theory was right. He actually did think that he was going to be a Targaryen. He was definitely correct. His hypothesis, I suppose you could say, since the show does come to an end. Yeah, that's my interpretation of Robb, and his dog shall be with him. And I think I might just shade him up a little on this side. And using the, I don't need that yet. Using this as a reference. I'm using his, the way he's shaded and stuff. The way Richard, the actor, looks in this shot. I'm going to shade him up a bit. Again, this can all be erased out, so I'm not too worried about how it looks after I ink it. I mean, the problem with these mechanical pencils is sometimes it'll get so sharp that it'll dig into the paper, which is why I prefer my Staedtler usually, but I wanted you to be able to see this a little better because I don't know, I'm just experimenting and trying different things to see if what works. I do like this pencil a lot, actually. Really nice pencil. But again, I just want to make sure that it does the job. See loose and sketchy and have fun, man. Don't overthink it. I'm just having a good time. I'm just chilling. When I come back in and ink, I can clear all this up and it should pop a little harder against the white because it's going to be so black. So let me just, by the way, the difference between, a lot of people complain about this, and I'm guilty of this. The difference between, say, chicken scratching, what I used to do when I was a kid, I'm gonna do this lightly, is where I would do this. Try to get like these really finite, instead of just being like, you know, going back over your own stuff is fine. Like, I like to draw. Of course, that's going to stay there. It's fine, whatever. I personally like to keep coloring or redrawing over the same area because it tends to thicken it up. But there's a difference. There's a difference between chicken scratching and confident drawing. And it really just, it looks better, really. I mean, you'll get there if you just keep drawing. It took me a long time to be more confident, too. Also helps to watch people that know what they're doing. Watch people that you admire, artists. Pretty much every artist is online, man. You can watch pretty much everybody. I'm talking the big artists we grew up with are now online, so you can learn from everybody. Really cool. Different time than when we grew up in. Well, at least when I did. I know. Show my age. Oh, no, old man didn't even know we had internet. We had internet. Shut up. All right. Anyway, so there he looks a little bit more rugged. Now, if I smooch it, it'll probably look better. But I'm going to give him an indication of his cheekbone here rather than that shine that he has. Might be a little bit much. Hold on. You can hear that. That was my cat going crazy because he was dying to go outside, even though he goes out all the time. All right. There. He looks real stocky and tough. All right. Now, I don't know if I want to draw his throne first or his dog. I think I'm going to draw the dog first. His wolf. Oh, right. I was supposed to put a crown on his head. Well, that's fine. I'm going to do that real quick, too. I'm going to throw a crown on his head. How am I doing? Am I still in the shot? Hopefully that's in the shot enough. Hopefully you can see me well enough. I'm trying to keep this straight. Okay. And also be able to draw. Again, I'm probably going to smudge this side. I don't care, because I'm going to ink it. I'm not a big person that worries about smudging their pencil. So, right. So I'm going to attempt to do the crown on his head. I think it's much bigger looking. So, okay. I know it's supposed to be heavy. It's solid bronze. All right. So my interpretation, I'm going to use what I see, but I'm also going to think about how it should sit on his head and how his hair might squash out. All right. And in the book, his mom, Catelyn, describes the weight of her young child, her young boy. She's like, he's just a baby wearing this heavy crown. And so that's partly what I'm trying to go for, is make it seem like it's heavy on his head, because his mother described it as such. I said it is kind of like symmetrical looking. The front one is supposed to be the most ornate, and so I'm gonna just sort of, it doesn't have to be perfectly symmetrical because you don't wear your hat and everything perfect, but I'm gonna do the best I can to keep it sort of centered. Yeah, I tend to not lift my pencil off page too much anymore. It's a little bit more flowy, like you're painting almost. I know that can be kind of a bad thing sometimes because it kind of thickens up some of the lines a little much, but that's okay. It works for me. So this one over here is similar. Look at this. They're meant to be swords sticking up as the sort of like the crenellation of the crown. This one is a little, you know what? I screwed that up. I screwed up what I'm looking at in terms of reference. So I will fix this because it should look a little bit more like the one to the side of it, like this. That's better. And then his hair, like I said, it should be weighing his hair down. So it kind of pushes his hair out to the side there. There should be one out here. And I'm going a little off the page there. Sometimes I try to keep this in the middle of the page, but this time I cannot help it. I'm trying to draw very big, you'll see. Yeah, I'm gonna shade this side of the crown. He should be kind of in shade. Light coming this way. Gonna sort of darken this side up a little bit. Okay, so they're very different looking in the picture from each other. Like this one here is a little bit more like really not doing this any justice. I'm trying to keep it my own interpretation, but it's also, I don't want to go too far from the source. So this almost looks like an anvil, and then it comes in this way. There's also a lot of shading going on, so it's hard to see it. That'll work. These almost remind me of like a Templar cross. All right, yeah, these are more like Knights Templar cross type thing. Like I said, these are a little darker. Yes, I see that now. And then this one, like, yeah, I'm just trying to keep the count right. There's supposed to be like 9 of them. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7. Yeah, there should be 8 back here. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Yeah, okay, I got it right. Making sure it counted right. Okay, so it's sitting on his head a bit. It's a bit wide actually. Now that I'm looking at it, that's actually not a bad thing. It's just that it looks like it's sitting on his skull here, but then on this side it's not quite. There we go. Yeah, so he really should have been screwed up. It should have been right here. It is what it is. So it should have started bending here, around his head. Sorry, let's do wait, his skull, it's right here, really. I'm just guessing, second guessing myself. I mean his skull should be here, and you would want the thing to be pretty close, I can make his hair sort of fall over it a bit, I guess. Maybe he falls around it. Yeah, I'm just making sure it makes sense on his head. It'll look right to you. His head, his crown. I know it's over to the side a little bit. I push his hair out so that it's kind of like over the top, but I think maybe if I have it so it's squishing his hair a little bit, that looks cool. All right, I was just gonna throw his wolf over here. And then I'll do the drone behind. Now there are interpretations of it where there's a diadrone on the front, but that isn't the case in the book. It's supposed to be made of swords. I think it's something to do with, I don't remember now. I think it had something to do with the amount of houses that are under Stark's not rule, but I mean, yeah, they're rule, but they give the sword to the house, and I believe that's how many swords it is. Don't quote me on that. I don't know for sure. And I'm gonna do Mr. Wolf here. Okay, so this is just gonna be, I'm using a regular wolf to do this, but I'm just gonna make him look a little ridiculously large. So it's gonna be the two of them together. So wolves have this indentation here. Their nose is actually pretty circular, It's a pupper. There's the noser. The split lip comes over the top of the front, and then their jowls, as it were, over the top. It's this side. And they have that, if you're looking straight at them, you know what? I'm just going to, I say that, but you know what I'm going to do? I'm actually going to use this reference as is instead of winging it. So his wolves can look kind of off, like not really quite symmetric because they have these crazy jowls. So I'm just going to, again, I'm trying to use this pupper here as a reference. I'm trying to get his eyes right, his eye line, brow line. If I can get that right, then everything else will fall in place for me, usually. So his eyes here. Yeah, I did that a little on the wrong angle. There we go. The way he's looking at you menacingly to his big old nostril. Yeah, I don't know. We're trying to give him sort of more human-like eyes. Usually I don't do that with the wolves, but I think that's kind of cool. It makes you feel like he's human-like. I did make it really, really big on purpose, but I didn't mean to make him so close to the camera necessarily, but is what it is. I've drawn a wolf once or twice, so not new. And they have this big old fur on top of their head. See, I wanted him to be menacing, like this huge dog, but he'll be right behind Robb, which will make him even bigger. And they have this tuft of hair in their ear, kind of goes back here in the front, and then it goes out to the outside, and then you have the top of the ear sort of goes into their head like that. And I'm running out of room to do that, but I don't know if you can tell, but I love wolves. They're just cool animals. And then this line right here, I just did that quickly. I'd actually draw it out, but I'll ink it up. Oh snap, stuff is falling. And they have this huge amount of fur that you're not going to see because he's behind Robb, but yeah, that'll work. I think that's pretty cool. And they're a lot like cats. They have this dark tuft of hair behind their eyes like this. I'm trying to make sure. Okay, just making sure I'm still on camera. Stuff's falling everywhere in my room. I don't know what it is. Cardboard boxes or something. It's tough to hear this way. I'm just going to give it an indication of fur here and here. I believe that's my cat being crazy. Our cat, actually. I was just playing with a cat. Our cat loves to play with water bottle caps from a bottle of water. I'm dead serious. That's all it is. Anytime we have a bottle of water, she has to play with it. I know. Water bottles, we recycle them as much as we can. That's cool. That looks okay to me, and I am my own worst critic, right? Aren't we all? So there, tucks in. They have this huge, like I said, they have this huge stuff of fur, but it's all black up in here, up around this other side. So like up in here, this is all black going around here, and then this is just a little bit of fur. So I'm trying to make sure that looks similar. Yeah, I like it like that. So I'm just trying to use this negative space to keep the shading or keep the form. And then this is just all darkness over here, and then there's a bit of fur line there, a bit more triangular than I'm showing there. That's more like that. When it cuts into the inside of his ear, it's a bit like this side. It's a bit like this. And then just to indicate fur, I do the same thing I do there. I just want to do this. I'm okay with that. And then just some, and I think it's kind of cool that he's got this fur coat on, and then it kind of runs into his coat, kind of symbolic, I guess. Not on purpose. I wasn't really thinking that. I just did it. Behind every great man stands an even greater wolf. What? It's funny. My wife said, how dare you? I thought it was funny. Meanie. All right. Who knows? I know what. Oh, yeah. I was just saying it's Robb, not me. It's behind any. Yeah. You heard what I said. It's Robb, not me, fool. To get some of his fur. And again, this is, I am using this reference pretty tightly, but it's my interpretation of his wolf. So cool. If this weren't Inktober, I'd call that a day, but it is Inktober and I can't. However, I actually don't think I'm going to use the throne in this. I think that is quite busy enough. We'll do a little bit of this though. Okay, that's a little better. So yeah, that works for me. Anything else I'm missing in my mind? I don't know. I think that's cool. Yeah, I'm just gonna ink this up and then that's it. See, the thing about this pencil is that it's very, very heavy, and so when I go to ink, it's gonna be quite a bit to erase back. So I think for the next time, I'm not gonna use this. This is good to sketch with, but I think it's better to use the other pencil for inking. But nonetheless, we shall see. Yeah, I think I'm still going to keep using this nib. It's kind of fun. I think I'm going to try the Japanese one again, because I think the one time I thought I had used it, I didn't. See, I still have some of this ink drying up on here. I'm going to have to wash that properly. That's the 03. It's one of these two. It's this one. Yeah, this is it. I just can see the number on it. All right, ideally, you use a kneaded eraser to knock some of this back, which allows you to do, to erase it without any smudging. I don't know if I have a kneaded eraser. I used to. So I'm just going to lightly see if I can pull some of this back. See, it's smudging too much. That's why I kneaded eraser is better, because it doesn't smudge. I don't think that's gonna work. Let me see. I'll keep knocking this damn thing when I move the chair. We had one with the drawing kit a long time ago. Well, I don't have the drawing kneading eraser. All I can do is lightly. Yeah, that isn't gonna work. I'm just gonna have to ink it and then erase it back as best I can. This is not the best for inking, this pencil, which is why I don't usually use it, but it is what it is. This is really a better pencil for penciling and then to scan the drawing, and then this pencil. It would be better to draw with if you're gonna scan your drawing into a computer and then go back, print that, and then ink that, and then scan that. That way, if you screw up, it's not a big deal. deal. Yeah. So I'm gonna go ahead and open this up. Hadn't used this yet. I don't think, or did I use this? No, I did use this. All right, I'm just gonna run with it, see what happens. All right, dude. Like I said, I really like the other, the Staedtler pen, the pencil, Mechanico pencil for, sketching, because it's less likely to smudge. I mean, it doesn't smudge for me usually when I'm drawing on paper. Funny enough, I actually tried a bunch of a bunch of pens because of Drawbox. They suggested a bunch of different kinds of pens, and I thought, well, I'll just try them all. And because of that, I ended up with Staedtler. Funny enough, I ended up with a Staedtler pencil, a pen. And the Staedtler pen that they gave me was supposed to be a 0.5, and they gave me a 0.05. And I verified it was the right thing that we bought, and they just sent us the wrong thing. And I was like, screw it, I'll just use them anyway. But what's funny is they're really, really thin, and so trying to use them for like ghosting practice and stuff. They're so thin that it just kind of dries up while you're trying to do it, and that's not ideal when I'm trying to go quick. You know, you're trying to do this and it's drying out. Like, that doesn't really work. They're really good for super fine line, but not for trying to draw over and over and over again, or to do really thick lines. You know, it takes forever for one thing, and they dry up really fast. I mean, it doesn't ink. There's still ink in them, but they dry out like from friction, from the heat. You know, with this, I know it's drying out because there's only so much of it in here at one time, and that's cool. I can just dip it back in the thing. But when it's drying up because of the friction, that's not really helping things. I'm trying to practice and I can't. I found a long time ago that it helps sometimes to just start from the beginning, like as an absolute beginner, even if you're not, because you notice things that as no longer a beginner that you wouldn't have when you first started, and it helps you to improve. My for a long time martial arts instructor, he used to say back to the basics, or he would say forward to the basics and not back to, and he would correct himself and say, he was like, no, this is forward to the basics, because you're not going backwards, you're learning from the basics again. Without the basics, you have nothing. So, use of the eraser, I guess. Yes, back to the basics was the point. Just don't think of it as you're so good you don't need the basics practice. You always need to practice. I practice the same stuff on guitar I started with when I started to this day, just for practice, just to keep it up. Oh, I better wait on that. That's not dry. I'm trying to go around this so I don't dry up my brush too much. I'm sorry. I don't smudge what I've done too much. And I'm just, okay, at this point when I'm inking, I want to make sure that I ink the right damn thing, because if I don't, it's not going to look right. Scribbles for the win. I'm going for a little less Kimtia. You know, he is supposed to be the king in the north, right? These are a little bit more in shade, so it's okay if I go a little crazy on it. You have no idea how this is going to come out. I hope it does okay. My wife liked the drawing, so I didn't want to screw it up, knowing my luck. Yeah, so this is actually a lot of fun to draw with, these little nibs, or to ink with, I should say. I'm not at this point drawing, really. Maybe put a little shading on this side. If he's shaded there, this should be. This is all just my preference at this point. All right, that's not looking too bad so far. So I'm trying to put his beard in here, and then I'm going to try to get this to shade up. I am no hatching master, okay? I'm just doing what I like, what I think, kick my camera. Just what I think looks cool or works. Just kind of shade it until I'm happy. And yeah, I just kind of wanted the light to look like it's coming from this side, but not overly done. Look at me making a damn mess. This ink sits on here pretty well, so I'm trying to not make a damn mess while I do it. Ah, damn it. Okay, grab me my drink. Trying to find a way to ink this without making a damn mess. I think that's okay. Yeah, you can kind of see the ink pulling up. I think I'll just keep this coat kind of simple. Bless you, babe. Bless you. I'd like to go with some darker starch. Oh, you know what I should probably try to do is wash this. I don't know. I think next drawing, I'm going to draw, ink, and then I'm going to try washing. I don't think I'm going to wash this one. I will be doing it, though, because I want to see if I can get that really cool look to it, like a wash effect. That's what I want. Okay, did I miss anything? Oh, this brooch kind of thing. Okay. So then I'm going to do sort of like this, I think. Sort of a cylinder style shading. All right, let's get it. Maybe, yeah, I think I might just keep that look to it like this. Need me? No, I'm not needed. Oh my God. It's a little bit of shading here. Oh no, there's ink on my desk, on my table over here. What the hell happened there? What the hell did I get ink all over the damn plate? I'm really not sure how that happened. Okay. I must have spilled that by accident by bumping the table. Let me not do that again. Just trying to make sure I have everything good to go. An old Robbo here. You know, one of the things you can do is draw upside down. That's a really cool idea for practicing. I tried it. It ended up coming out exactly like I would if I drew it upside down. I mean, regular way up. But it's just kind of a fun exercise to get you out of the rut. It kind of forces you to draw what you see rather than what you think you're supposed to be seeing. Again, kind of again, good practice if you want to try it. I drew a cat wearing a suit, he looked like a mob boss or something. Yeah, see, that's gonna hit hard. And anyway, I drew it upside down, and it was pretty cool. It looked good when it was done. I just moved the ink reservoir over here. It's on top of my desk instead, so I don't bump it again. So this does get really nice lines though. I mean, I can't do this with a brush pen, so that's pretty cool. I do like that. So I'm just gonna follow the lines I have in that case, doing it upside down, and yeah, that works. I'm not too concerned about the fur being exactly as I drew it because it was just winged anyway. I'm never really that concerned. This can be scribbled because it's mostly just his fur, really dark inside of his ear here, so I'm not too concerned with it looking correct. I do, however, I like it when it's, come on now, a little bit too much ink on there. It wasn't really getting on my paper. Yeah, this pen set's actually not, you know what, I've never used anything like this before, but it works well, so I don't know what the complaints are. People saying it leaks or something. I saw a couple of people say that on Hobby Lobby website. I'm like, obviously they don't know how to use a dip pen, because I didn't, but I certainly don't blame the tools for my inability to use them. How are you going to say a dip pen leaks? I just didn't understand. I'm always skeptical about one-star reviews. I make sure I read what people are saying. Now, 2-star, 3-star, then maybe I'm kind of more likely to believe what they're saying. But a lot of times these people just complaining because they don't know how to use stuff. Like, that doesn't make it bad. Like somebody buying a cheap guitar and then complaining that it needs to be set up. I'm like, bro, expensive guitars need to be set up. Like, they just, when they ship them, they go out of tune and stuff, and the wood shifts. Now, there are expensive guitars you wouldn't expect to do that with. I understand. But this is a $11 kit, bro. You're complaining about $11. It is not a bad thing. This is not a bad kit. I mean, I've never used anything like this, and it does the job. So what the hell? Why are you complaining? You're complaining because you don't know how to use it, and you're saying it leaks. Like, I don't even know how that's possible. It makes a mess, maybe, but how does something leak that only works by dipping it? I just don't understand that thought process. Like I said, I don't understand the leaking part. I just don't. It baffled me. I'm like, what do you mean leaking? How does it leak? I don't understand. I'm like complaining that oil paint doesn't cure right away. I don't know. Like, I just thought this would be a fun excuse to use these dip pens because I never got one. Like I said, I've never used one before, and an excuse to try one. Kind of floating so I don't make a damn mess with all this, all the things. I'm gonna give him a little bit of fur here, so it's obvious that that's part of his ear. Where am I at? Okay. If you ever airbrush, you learn to float your pen, or I'm sorry, your not your pen, but your, well, yeah, it's in Spanish. It's a airbrush is an air pen, so it is sort of a pen. I mean, it actually looks more like a pen than it does brush, but whatever. And anyway, you learn to float by holding your other hand, and I kind of want to do that because I don't want to make this ink everywhere. But it seems to be drying and not making as much of a mess as it was. All right, I'm gonna go a little heavier on his little ear here because it's quite a bit of black in here. I think that's good. No, I'm just gonna do his nose. See, he's quite a bit wet here. I don't know if you can see, but it's still shimmery. I'm gonna move it around a little bit. One thing this does too, it does kind of scratch the paper, even if you're using the proper side, because sometimes I use the wrong way by accident. It still scratches it. So tearing up this paper a little bit, it looks good, I think. And their nose is kind of like a little comma, which I think is cool. It's like a. I'm being rather quiet tonight. I'm listening to this story. My wife likes to watch these, murder mysteries or crime stories. I've mentioned that before. If you've ever watched any of my stuff, so I'm actually listening to it pretty intently. It's a story I've heard before. It's still not any less shocking. So I won't get into the details of the story. It's pretty twisted. But let's just say these girls got convicted of murdering a guy that was taking severe advantage of them. So it's kind of it's a hard story to be like, oh yeah, they did it, they deserve it. It's not always that simple. Okay, so he's got some shading going on here, so I think I am going to shade this. Again, I'm no hatch master, but I just like the way it looks, so I keep trying to practice it. Some people are, I'm more chaotic about it. Most people they're very good. They're very careful about it. I'm just kind of stacking lines to get a shade. Plus it helps to if you want to create different texture and stuff, so it feels like it's going different directions, you can change the direction. I'm saying with the hatch line, so it creates more like a contour line, but it's still hatch. So just a little here and there. It's cool though, because you can still see the light coming through through in certain spots. And then like the fur, I do want to try to make this a little bit darker to sort of match that look on his neck, but there is some lightness to his fur that he's wearing. The only way to do it is to try it, keep getting it going. I stopped trying to be so attached to my drawings a long time ago. Just try to get things drawn. So I find when I was attached to it, then you worry you're gonna make mistakes, and then you do. And then if you just don't worry about it so much, you just draw stuff. You can always draw it again. I think that's good. All right, I'm just gonna throw a little bit more texture on his bottom part here. First off, his hair, I think here needs a little bit more color or shading. And it's a little busy, but I think it's because the pencil is still there. So if I can take the time to cut that pencil out, I think it'll be okay. Trying to get this ink off of here. Okay, that's kind of cool. Oh yeah, I wanted to throw a little bit of texture on his shirt down there in the bottom. This section is very long. I'm gonna try to see if I can cut it down. That's probably why I didn't talk much. I'm just trying to see if I can get this finished. Just wanted to knock this out. Yeah, I'm just going to fill this in a little bit more down here. Try to get that darkness about the same as it is on the top. I'll take. I think that's kind of cool. It's not too bad. There is a little bit lacking here. I think I'm just going to... a little bit too much negative space to me. There. To me, I think that's good. And before, I had put I sign it usually. So I think I'm going to have to sign, honestly, the back of this. Usually I throw my signature on the bottom of my drawings because I have plenty enough space, white space. But on this one, I think I'm going to sign the back after this dries. I'm going to let it dry. I'm gonna erase all this stuffs here, and then I'll show it to you and see what you guys think if you made it that far. And if you have, thank you for hanging out. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, share it with anybody you like or don't like. You know what I'm saying? Seriously, I really appreciate you guys hanging out. And that's the end of the end of Inktober day 3, and I will see you on day 2. I'll see you on day 4. Peace.